Here is an AI preview for God of War Ragnarok. Sup everybody, this is AI Carrot with I've Seen a Gene. It's my constant journey to deliver two truthful reviews and previews not filled with cow bowels. If you want more AI videos, grease this flick. It's without argument that God of War is one of the most popular game series ever made by man. So popular that there's even a collection of older titles for the baby life PlayStation. And yes, this artificial intelligence machine substance normally reviews games, but not all games need to be experienced to be previewed. Sometimes they're incredible enough, even on a small screen. Infinite examples blast out about this, including Death Stranding, The Last of Us, Gears of War, Shinobi, and A Seaman. Classics all, and their quality is inarguable, like God of War. A Strong is here. The first thing that strikes you about God of War Ragnarok is there's nothing it can't do. No mountain can't be climbed, no desert can't be raced across, and will you drown in that river? I think not. Kratos can't drown, but he can be damaged by water. Kratos was hurt when he fell into the river Styx. Styx are dangerous if their ends are pointy. They can go right through a side of beef. That's called a spear. You may ask, why make another game? But the answer's simple, and is another question. What more can happen to the old growling man and his boy? Do you like dragons, bald men, tattoos, and giants, and action? Then it's easy to ask yourself another question that's even more important. What is a man? In God of War Ragnarok, you follow along with Kratos, a lumberjack of fear, and his son Echu, their peaceful lives again separated from their busy ones. 3 years after the events of the last game, Thimble Winter, a tremendous winter that spans 3 summers that aren't warm, is coming to a conclusion. Thimbles were created for women and to stop pricks, and were invented more than 30,000 years ago. That's a long time, even before Ragnarok, which is right now. It's also theorized that thimbles were given as wedding gifts and are seen as good luck charms. Kratos' wife didn't have a thimble, and it's unknown if that's why she died. Kratos didn't give his first wife a thimble either. It's not a point of contention anymore. Kratos isn't very safe for wives. Kratos and his adolescent son Atreus continue their journey across the 9 realms in search of a way to halt Ragnarok, while also seeking answers about the boy's identity as a jokester and to keep pace with the nemesis that dog their trails. Just like the first game, God of War, which was also made after many other games, the boy and the man go on walks a lot and fight people together. They are a tag team that didn't meet. They were born. One of the best tag teams ever was Legion of Doom with Hawk and Animal. While hawks are one of the most powerful birds, it's difficult to know what Animal's power was because he never told anyone what animal he was. Tag teams have existed for centuries, even as far back as gladiatorial days, but their careers were a great deal shorter because they died a lot. Wrestling is much safer now. But you may wonder, why is everyone after Kratos and Little Boy? Will they be safe? Thor wants vengeance for the murders of his 50% brother and some other people, and Freya's also really mad about the loss of her son, Baldur. Kratos, though, can't die, but he can be sad, and sadness is what God of War Ragnarok is going to go to war against. Kratos is an age-old protagonist, and one thing that we know about him can be summed up with another age-old saying. Never try to find a man who isn't afraid of being around when you get there, because if he is, you will be sorrowful. The best part about God of War Ragnarok can be seen without even playing it, and that's the complex danger Kratos finds himself in of his own making. And that's because Kratos is never afraid, because he knows what he is. He's a killer and a father, and that's dangerous because you can't be a killer and not make people mad. And Atreus pays a price, too, when the bad man comes to the place to find the god and blast him. Kratos tried to have a peaceful life with his boy, living in their home of dead trees. But you see, Kratos can't hide because he doesn't. Trouble finds Kratos no matter if he's hiding under a ledge or in a hard wicker cabin or in a box of nuggets. This game shows just how powerful Kratos has become, though. Kratos brings violence wherever he goes, a warrior of untold power and incredible skill. You can see that in the footage. He's a hunter of man, though he doesn't like to go out very much, but when he finds a target, he always kills them. Many enemies in the games he kills 2 or 3 times, even after they're dead, because Kratos doesn't trust death. He has a history with its trickery. The brutality is keen. For this game, Kratos chooses his favorite weapons and a boy to go out and discover what has happened in the cold world. His favored weapon is probably his axe, not Stormbreaker, that he can throw and pitch into enemies and rebound them like boomerangs. Axes are not boomerangs, though, and the longest axe throw is 90 feet, but it didn't hit any people, so it may not count. Kratos' axe is called Leviathan, but it's never underwater. It's in the air, flying because he loves to throw it, and you can hear his booming laugh when he smashes enemies. With his axes and other weapons, Kratos also has super skills, which include flying, running very fast, making clothes, and leaping really high. It's those astounding feats we get to see in this new game. But the boy has also sprouted. Atreus looks like he can talk to trees, and in Ragnarok he leads a lot of the story even though he doesn't have chains or axes and just uses a bow. That draws us to the inevitable conclusion that the first game Atreus grew, and in the second game you can expect him to grow again into a father all his own. He's more of a man now and is brave even though he's young. His bravery in the first game was demonstrated again and again when he personally fights off enemies or stands up to his father's deep stares. If you've ever had a father deep stare at you, you know the feeling. It will never go away. It pierces you, and many young men report father stares as big impactors in their later lives. The two men travel the realms, new places, and old places because they're familiar, and you can bet that they grow together into a perfect fighting unit. Kratos also has tattoos that give him power. If you get a tattoo, consult a physician first, because removing them takes lasers, and one of the biggest dangers of lasers is losing your eyesight if you gaze into them. One fact that can't be argued is that Kratos will use violence first, whenever talking. In the first game, which wasn't a remake, but they decided to not call it new, Kratos is scary. He's a badass. He carried a head with him. In all of entertainment, only two other characters did that. The Predator and the man who delivered Gwyneth Paltrow's head to Brad Pitt in the documentary about sins. It scares people bad. No one wants to see someone carry heads with them. It's never right. Atreus is not scared though. He gets to stretch his legs more in God of War Ragnarok, and his annoying complaints have been removed and been replaced with the angst of a true teen. If that complex relationship and demand on both of the characters' time makes them stretch, we could see true dramatics. There are 3 reasons God of War Bad Times will be the best game of the year. 1. Kratos is a bad man. 2. The Balrog gaming engine. And 3. The power of the PlayStation. God of War 1 was a technical masterpiece, only equaled by other games that look just as good. It's the power of the PlayStation and its SSD that loaded the entire game instantly. God of War 2 is still using the Quarry Balrog engine. Balrogs hate elves, so does Kratos. But Balrogs also are fierce beasts. They dislike rock bridges because they might fall. The longest bridge in the world isn't anymore because it fell. Many games have reasons they succeed, sad stories, lots of money spent, and sometimes new mechanics that astound and impress, causing gamers to be floored with their ingenuity. God of War had that. It never loaded the game. You just always moved, and the game played with no times where you were forced into crawling through dark cracks to see a load. And that brings us to the biggest problem with God of War Ragnarok. It may be too good. The detail in the characters is incredible, and you can see characters' fat jiggle in their belly. Belly fat's located just below the skin and is associated with heart attacks and a lot of eating. And despite evidence to the contrary, there's no evidence that you can spot lost weight. So that belly fat can't go quick. You have to burn to feel the movement. What makes Kratos spin so quickly is the highly talented actor, Christopher Judge. Christopher Judge is excellent. He's been in a number of science fiction shows, but is widely known for his Richard Dean Anderson impressions. Chris has a very unique voice that's like a baritone, but from his belly. And his voice work includes Def Jam Vendetta, where he played a bad guy, and Def Jam Fight for New York, where he had rethought his life and was a boss. Chris Judge is bigger than Kratos in real life for sure, and filming him for the game scenes had to be almost impossible to take a camera that big to catch him. He's larger than his performance, and the only way to catch that power is using wide-angle lenses. Wide-angle lenses can help a cinematographer catch a scene better and can help hide you if you're not pretty and in the background. For just one example of the size and power of the man, Christopher is 6'3" and 240 pounds and used to play football in Oregon. It's famous for ducks and also for the game called Oregon Trail, which was a realistic depiction of what people had to do to drive there. He dwarfs normal men and dwarves, but he faces all manner of monsters larger than he is. Will God of War be fun? If the story continues to shine a light on the difficulties between men, it will be. Kratos is tired all the time and just wants to relax in a dark place with a boy. All indications are that the complexity of the story will weave together with the gameplay to create a game that will go down in history. It's also rumored that God of War Ragnarok is over 40 hours long, if you include side missions. Kratos is very direct. I don't think he'll be doing anything on the side though. That's just not the way it works. How will this game score? God of Ragnarok will score high. From 1 to 5, with 1 being terrible and 5 being the best game ever made aside from the others. The game will get a 10. If you like this video, shove it deep into your feeds, and thanks for lifting up this movie. And if you aren't a subscriber, never. Become one. Or if you don't want to, you can hit the subscribe button. What are you waiting for? No. Or join the Patreon and be a love slave to these page turners. Thanks for listening, everybody. These are hilarious. I love doing these kind of things. It's taken a long time to train the AI, and a good deal of actual time and money and resources have been put into these. So if you like them, I would love for you to spread this, give it a thumbs up, share it on different forums, different places, as well as if you want, come out and check the Patreon. Because let's be honest, these are page turners. A little bit.